thought we had it.
No.
Good morning, Baron fans, and welcome to this broadcast of Sports Talk at Ben Davis Ford in Auburn with your host and voice of the DeKalb Barons, myself, Joe Snyder, here on Baron TV, hosted by AES via YCN, your community network. This broadcast is made possible by the generosity of the following program sponsors. That's going to be, of course, first and foremost, Ben Davis Auto Group here in Auburn, Auburn Essential Services, DeKalb Health, Steel Dynamics Incorporated, Bull's Frozen Desserts, Schmidt Teas, Gibson's Heating and Plumbing, FC Tucker, Malcolm and Schluter Realtors, Kelly Southern State Farm, Albright's One Stop Grocery and Supermarket in Corona, Jamel Flooring, Brown & Brown Insurance, Classic City Body and Paint, Smith Farms Manor, Nixon Homes, Joyce Hefty Koval Insurance Agency, The Betts Nursing Home, Beacon Credit Union, Metal Technologies, Mefford Weber and Blythe Attorneys at Law, Nucor Building Systems, Vision Source, Indiana Physical Therapy, Auburn Dental Associates, Taylor Rental, Best Deal Auto Sales, Bernadette Salon, The Forget-Me-Not Boutique, Big Red Sports, Jeremiah's, DeKalb Chiropractic, and Drive Right Academy. And, of course, we're talking once again with head coach of the DeKalb Barons, Mr. Pete Kempf. And, Coach Kempf, we ended up having a great showing last night for the DeKalb Barons, our home opener against the Garrett Railroaders last night at DeKalb, and that's something that, wow, it was a great performance by the group overall. 49-0 victory, if I have that correct, as far as my
sounds
score.
about right.
That sounds about right.
Sounds about right.
We ended up having, some great touchdown kings and touchdown moments last night, offensively and defensively. Performances were really, really tight and really well done. And hey, it was an exciting game, and the crowd. My goodness, the crowd was amazing on both sides. I mean,
it was.
And I saw parking was extending to the west, outside of the parking lot, just for everybody to get in. And that stadium was just packed and was rocking last night.
Absolutely. The stadium was amazing. And, obviously, you walk in and it was a rocket night. So we had a lot of young families there. Every year Coach Weber, speaks how they have record numbers. And a lot of the young men in DeKalb County are playing football. They're playing football within our great DeKalb Central Rocket League. And Coach Weber's done an amazing job over the last couple decades of putting together an amazing youth league. And you saw that last night, just the camaraderie as the kids, welcome us in, welcome us out, high fives across the board. And, it's a great feeling. And then the stands were packed, standing room only, it seemed like on the home stands. And, the band was there, like hooting and hollering. And it was a great family atmosphere and something fun to be a part of as a program.
Absolutely, and the student section was really rocking last night.
Oh, yeah.
Was rowdy and fun and everything that comes along with a great football environment.
It's been a long time coming. We've had some great moments of great student sections, but I think last night might have been the best I've been a part of in the last half decade.
And I got to put another shout out there to Eric Weber. And that's Mefford Weber and Blythe Attorneys at Law are one of our big sponsors here on the program. But Eric Weber is also an alumni, and we ended up having a scrimmage earlier in the season. And of course, we had our first ever featured flag football alumni football game, and it was Coach Weber and his team. He even got out there and did some quarterbacking during that game, and they ended up being victorious in that alumni scrimmage.
Yeah, he
showing off his skills.
I think his self-declared stat line, I think, was like 7 of 9 and a torn labrum or something like that. He says he got tackled. I don't know if it was as much as tackled as he kind of fell down, but it was thoroughly enjoyable. And we had a lot. We had like almost 20, a little over 20 alumni that were there, and it was just again one of those things that we're trying to do to bring together. Just people who've played in the past. We had dudes from 3 different states. We've had 4 different generations represented in that flag football game from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and 2010s. And 4 decades, I guess you could say.
Yes.
And that's very cool. And a lot of people want to see us and be involved. And it's just lucky to be a part of that. And, of course, we have a lot of coaches and the staff that are alumni that are kind of bummed they didn't get to play. Which, but after watching those guys play, I'm kind of thankful I didn't. But, Coach Weber, he's a man that is truly community-based, and we're very thankful to have him within our, Baron football family.
Absolutely. Well, that was I tell you what, that was a great idea with that alumni game, and the crowd absolutely loved it. And I know I loved it watching the continuity, like you said, of those 4 different decades of Baron football represented out there in the field with some of the greatest folks in our community that have done so much. not only during their high school career, but even afterwards coming back to support the program?
No, we are we're just very lucky, and it's not just like you saw like a guy like Jared Phillips and Papa Phillips and over here at Jamel Flooring, and they've supported not just Rocket but us, and then you got guys like Dave Brand, and then a true legend like Justin Rust coming back and from Wisconsin to play, and I haven't seen him in a while, and it just you're just thankful. And last night at the game I saw a bunch of guys that I went to high school with, played ball with, and they were there to support us from the early 2000s. And a lot of those guys have either moved away or they're, in Fort Wayne, and they don't get back up this way very often. And, I'm trying to create that atmosphere. And, we want people to come. We need to give people reasons to come back to Auburn.
Exactly.
And, when you have young families, one of those main reasons is a school.
Absolutely.
And, we've got a long, we've got some things that we can work on that like other school districts have improved. Like East Noble has a brand new middle school stadium. Columbia City is getting a brand new high school, brand new stadium. All of East Allen County got brand new turf this year. I'm trying to think, you look at, just everyone across our field in competitions, a lot of people are putting an emphasis on increasing the quality of facilities that haven't been increased in a long time. And here at DeKalb, we're very lucky because we've had so many volunteers.
Absolutely.
So many people that have invested time, from athletic directors and coaches, and just even in our field, like, you look at the soccer field, that big house they have out there was student built and by volunteers, and everything you see around is done to the best of the ability for free.
Absolutely.
But other districts have put an emphasis on it, and DeKalb doesn't put district money into athletics outside of just maintenance, and it's been 50 years. So we have to give people a reason to come back, and so all we can do as a football program is build a culture that they want to be involved in, no matter how outdated or, like a good example is like our locker room floor. Like Harrison Price sliced his foot open on it because the tiles are chipping, and our coach's office smells like sewer gas probably every other week for reasons other than it should. It's just kind of all over the place. We have toilets that back up and overflow once a week, and you got to start banging the top of it so it stops to overflow, and then we dry it up. And I just, things that are 40, 50 years old that have been maintained to the best of the ability, but there haven't been any updates or outside of what coaches have done with paint and hanging televisions and doing everything we can within hundreds of dollars of budget that we fundraise. And that the hard part about that is it takes money away from the kids,
right,
into just making sure things are safe,
right,
and the kids want to be involved in it. So like the red jerseys last night, those were all kids raised that money,
right,
from card sales, and they look sharp.
Yes.
So we, but again, the quality of what we have, and the donations or what we have are what keep us alive, and we're very thankful for everybody involved in that aspect of the game, with the booster club to Rocket to the local businesses like we were at Ben Davis, and just that those little bit go a long way every year, and just very thankful.
Well, and I want to talk a little bit about boosters at this time. That was something, of course, last year and for a few years prior to that. It was Betty Sue Hughes was running the football boosters, and that was something I got to put a shout out to her, and of course out to Donnie as he's going into his college career this year.
Yep.
Best to him. We all wish him the best, and I'm a big super fan of his. And that's something they did such a great job. And of course this year it's Kelly Snyder taking over the football boosters and doing a great job with really bringing that continuum to the culture of what we're trying to add to the community.
As we kind of talked with last week between you and I, and in the roles that you and I both really put a lot of time and hours into creating this show and Baron Television into a sustainable model. The same thing goes for football boosters, and we've had Betty Sue and that Betty Sue, Tammy Althouse. Sorry, didn't even think about this. Betty Sue, Tammy, Lisa Price. April Miller, who's now still in it. They did a wonderful job for 3 or 4 years, and obviously Lisa's still in it now, taking pictures, and Fred does the tailgating. But we had one transition, which is one huge step towards sustainability. We have a lot of practices that Betty Sue and the previous booster board put into place that we are now adapting, moving around, and trying to better fit our community as we continue to move forward to create a sustainable model. it's Kelly Snyder. Steve did a great job with the programs. Deanna Pomeroy has been a freaking rock star.
Awesome.
I mean, I can't thank her enough for what she's done so far this year, and from everything from the car wash. And there's a ton of parents out there that have done it so much, and we're not going to have time to name them all. But April's still on the booster board, and so is Tina Rhodes. And like last night, simple things like feeding the boys and away games, and just organizing that. Organizing food might be one of the weirdest, craziest for a football team. We were trying to feed anywhere from 40 to 80 dudes, and it's not an easy feat, and they've done it with grace, and I'm very thankful for that.
Well, that's something that it's kind of interesting, because I think all of those efforts that they have put forth really helped to build to what we saw last night reflective in that crowd.
Absolutely.
And that's something that, the tailgating atmosphere that really was brought up prior to the game. As I pulled in, I saw all the tailgaters out there getting excited, getting ready for the game, getting ready to cheer on the Barons.
Absolutely.
And then of course, we get to the actual game itself, and wow, touchdown Kings. Oh my gosh, that's something. The score was great, and that was something. Now, what I really loved about the game last night, Coach, more than anything else, was the team came together and said, "This is our game, and we're playing our game." And we didn't play into the hand of the other team. We played our game, and we just basically went out and executed our drills, our plays, and made them stick to the best of our abilities. And I think that was the sportsmanship and class act that ended up happening as a result of that. And of course, we have those touchdown kings as well, brought to us by DeKalb Health.
Yeah.
And of course, we announced the touchdown kings for last week in week 1, and this week, of course, starting it out was sophomore Curtis Martin scoring the first touchdown of the game last night, with an incredible 8-yard run. It was a great start to the first quarter, getting into the end zone. And then after that, we ended up having Landon the Thriller Miller picking up 3 throughout the game, going crazy out there. And then we also had 2 from the old splash and go. That's sophomore Tanner Jack picking up a couple more. And and that's one of the things I look at in this is, hey, we've got guys that are big threats, not just for this season, but for future building of this team as well.
Absolutely, and we're lucky that we have a handful of sophomores that are getting some action. Curtis is a full-time player. I think he's kind of the, Don Blevins has also stepped on defense. So we have a couple sophomores that are in major roles, and you got guys like Tanner Jack and Evan Snyder who are spotting guys in and out. You got Tanner Huff, who does he's out there spotting guys in and out at receiver, and so we have some sophomores that are playing important roles on Friday tonight. That they've doing it, they've earned it. What I mean, because they had to take that job from somebody or earn that job over somebody else. And Curtis is a great example of that. There were 3 or 4 guys in that position, and he won the job as a sophomore, and it's well earned, and he's been really good. And it's fun to see that, because he's worked very hard in particular.
Well, and both, we talk about that offensively, at least with the scoring plays. Everybody's excited about that. But there were great plays throughout the entire event last night. We saw it on offense. We saw it on special teams. We saw it on defense. And we saw where, really, as a whole, the club really stepped up and just performed their roles.
Yeah, no, we, a couple weeks ago, the motto was "Do your job." This week was a little bit different. The focus was a bit different, but we went out with an attitude. We went out with the right kind of nasty. Now, we had some mental mistakes, but these seniors in particular have taken a lot from. How do I put this? They've taken a lot of heat from Garrett and parts of their community. They've taken a lot of. They've taken the high road in a lot of cases, and I think a little bit of frustration was vented out last night, not always in a healthy manner, which we'll fix within a program. And there were some actions that we don't necessarily condone, and we'll use it as a teaching moment. And if things happen again, we'll take care of it. If they don't, we've learned.
Right.
And we have to learn. We had some silly mistakes, and to me, that as a head coach, it kind of takes away from the evening. But we did exactly what to do. I think we had like 370 rushing yards. I can't remember the last time we had 370 rushing yards, and we threw the ball for another 100 yards.
Exactly.
It should have been closer to 140, 160. We just got to beat some good teams. We're gonna have to start doing that. We're gonna start throwing the ball more effectively, and that's gonna be a big focus this week.
Okay. Well, and when I sit back and take a look at it, Dunham ended up having some great plays there, and I mean some incredible fakes that we ended up seeing. And later in the game, we saw Mr. Price come in and step into the game there in the fourth quarter as well, stepping up and having a good opportunity to get some of that experience on varsity.
Oh, absolutely. And it's hard to get. People are like, why don't you put the JV in at halftime and da 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 da. Well, you got to understand there are quarters.
Right.
So if we play a JV game today the kid plays 2 quarters, he can only play 3 quarters in the JV game. We won't have enough kids to play JV.
Right.
So we have to wait a lot of times to the 4th quarter to start subbing kids in, especially sophomores, to get that opportunity. So that there's gamesmanship in that, and so I was very proud. Corey does a great job, whether it be a quarterback, and he's got a bright future in front of him.
Yes, he absolutely does, and that's something that we get to see him in the scrimmages as well in the preseason, and that's something that I can't help it. But boy, there is something about both he and his older brother that they have an incredible play style that is so signature to the Price name.
They've moved very similar, and they're entirely different men, though.
Exactly.
But, yeah, they do. They carry themselves the same, hair and all.
Well, I tell you what, that's something that you've brought some special guests with you on the show this morning as well. And it's time for us to end up talking to a couple of these special guests.
Should we?
I'm not so sure.
I think Becky was on here. Mrs. Roller was on here, and I think they're probably going to tune out here real quick if they don't get to hear these boys too real soon.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get to the special guests that we've got on the show this morning.
All right.
Who do we have?
Oh, do I have to introduce them
yes,
too?
Please,
oh my
please
gosh!
do.
I don't know if these dudes need introductions. Do they?
Well, that's one of them that I think the best I can end up saying. I mean, one of them we know is Landon the Thriller Miller, and of course after last night, getting the Thriller name in there is just about the right way to call it. And then we've got Lucas. Welcome to the Roller Dome, and that's something that right. superstar defenseman, correct?
So I think we'll go up. I think we'll go seniors first. I think it's definitely well earned. So right off the bat, we're going to hit up to number 24.
You got it.
Lucas Roller.
Well, I tell you what, it's great to have you on the show this morning, Lucas. And I know I briefly had an opportunity to talk with you after the game, and that was something that this was a high-profile game for DeKalb, and it is every year. I mean, when we take a look at it, some people refer to it as the Battle of DeKalb County.
Yeah.
I mean, we've heard all kinds of names and tags on it and things like that. And you've had a chance to play in this level of a game for more than one season, and that's the thing is as you take a look throughout your football career, how does this moment of last night's game rank in importance and really showing the growth that we've had as an organization?
Honestly, like the growth from last year to this year it was immense. Like last year playing, I felt the crowd, but this year it was insane how the crowd just it kept going for us, like no matter what. And you could not hear any Garrett over our DeKalb crowd last night. The playing style of DeKalb, like us yesterday, was I want that every game. Like compared to last year, we would get down on each other. This year, we did a bad play. Hey, just come back, do it again. Like hit somebody harder, and keep going faster and faster. And just the growth from last year, it's crazy to see how just changing grades and everybody going into their new roles, how they take that part on and actually like play with that part and do their job, and it's insane. I love it.
Well, last night on defense, we saw an awful lot of defensive stops where the defense did a great job at containing and just shutting down the offense and really not allowing them to get any kind of field position at all.
Yeah.
I got to ask you on that. That's something that there's an awful lot that goes into that, and the team core that you're working with. What can you tell us about the other folks on defense and what it's like to work with that group?
We're a special misfits group, that's for sure. We're definitely a bunch of weirdos playing defense. We're a bunch of hillbillies together and all that.
It's like Coach Garrett reincarnate here.
Yeah.
I love playing with all those guys. They've come to the heart, and I couldn't be on the field with anybody else. They play their jobs right, and it makes defense so much more fun, the game just so much more fun, and I just got a special place in my heart for that whole defense, and it's going good, and I love that defense.
Well, for you specifically, what is your position, your role on the team, and how do you fit into that group?
Well, this year I'm a defensive end instead of linebacker, and honestly, I've taken the role head on this year, and I love it. I love the new group that I'm in with the defensive line. Coach Garrett, he's a crazy one. He helps me through everything. But the defense and just having the role on the defense, kind of like trying to lead the team. I really like trying to lead the defense because I'm a senior, and that's like what I try to do. It's a goal. Try to keep everybody upbeat. Because when people get down, things don't go right, and it's not fun for anybody. But yeah, I really love defense.
Absolutely. Well, I got to ask, what's your favorite part in the game? Like when you have that moment to step up, what's the part of it that you enjoy the most during the game, knowing your individual role has contributed to the team effort?
Winning.
You got it.
Oh, winning. Definitely winning. And if it's not winning, making sure that they know who we are.
Yes.
Because last week on Angola, I guarantee they know who DeKalb is this year. And I think everybody has kind of noticed that we're a different team, completely different team than what we've been the past 3 years. And I think they've seen that they're taking us lightheartedly, and they don't think that we're a team to be up against this year. And I think this week and last week are just kind of a stand showing that we're not nothing to play with. We're nothing to play with this year.
Well, the competitive level is a lot higher, and do you really attribute that to so much of the leadership and the buy-in to what coach is bringing to the team?
Yeah, 100%. The coaches, they've been there all 3 years I've been with Kempf. It's amazing. 4 years this year. Bringing Wilcox in as defense coordinator, he's an awesome defense coordinator. I love that guy. Jesse Garrett, JB Dixon this year. It's the electricity that comes off of the coaching staff is amazing, and it comes in. It really shows in our athletes and how we play aggressive, because practices are a lot different than what they were last year. We fly around to the ball, and if we don't, we get told, and we know that we don't. So we got to bounce back the next practice and keep going so we can be competitive on those Friday nights and just win, pretty much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and that's all in the spirit of competition, of taking our game to the other team and coming out with that outcome and saying, hey, we're going to put our best out here, and, man, we're hungry for that win.
100%.
And, one of the things that's really awesome is when I sit back and take a look at it, especially for you in your career, you've had 4 years with DeKalb. Last night against Garrett, we've seen you've been in those matchups before.
Yeah.
There was a huge energy that ended up happening, and we've got another big game coming up at home this week, and that's going to be against the New Haven Bulldogs.
Yep.
So we're talking about conference matchup.
Yep.
We're talking about a showdown, and that's something. So there's two questions that I'm going to have for you. One, when you sit back and take a look at it, how big was that moment last night in setting a legacy of the future of this team and your leadership? And two, what are we bringing against the Bulldogs?
For the first question, that it was huge. Really, it was. I think winning last night really brought in the DeKalb community a lot more than it's ever been. And next week, I'm expecting there to be even more students and more fans there, because we just want to grow our fans more and more, and it brings a whole new energy to that stadium. Brings it, and it just makes it 100 times better for everybody. We have more fun. It's a better game. We play better. We play more aggressive.
Yeah, Bulldogs.
Bulldogs. Oh, New Haven.
A Hound Pack.
Next week, aggressive. We're going to be 100 times more aggressive next week than we were this week, and we were aggressive this week. But we're already starting to get ready for New Haven. This morning, practice, getting ready for them already. Looking at their defense and offense, I'm just ready. I'm so ready. I'm ready to win that game, ready to give 100%. It's going to be a fun time.
Well, I tell you what, it's so much fun. It's so exciting hearing from you this morning. It was great talking with you after the game as well last night. And one of the things is I just love your positive energy that you bring out there on the field, and we can see it every time you step into the game. and that's one of them. We can always count on that from you, Lucas. And that's something that, the one thing I want to ask you is, hey, is there anything that we didn't ask you today that you can share about you to our fans this morning?
Nah, not really.
No, you're okay.
Kind of. Yeah.
Well, and another final question. Any final thoughts and shout-outs to your fans and listeners here on our program this morning?
I should probably, yeah. I want to thank all my parents, Becky and Brad, my whole family, grandmas. Thank Landon being out there on the field with me. Carter, all of them. I love my team to death. I don't know what I'd do without football and that whole team. just ready for New Haven with them.
Well, I tell you what, you've heard it here first. Lucas Roller, right here with the DeKalb Barons, and we look forward to your success this week and throughout the year. So we hope to have some more updates for you here on the show. And now we're going to be speaking with number 10, Landon, the Thriller Miller, the man who just couldn't stop making touchdowns last night at the game. And Landon, I got to tell you, as a sophomore, what does this mean to you as this opportunity to be out there on varsity and have this type of a contribution? What's that? A junior. I'm sorry, junior. My apologies. My apologies. And that's something that. So, what does it mean for you to end up having this opportunity last night to end up scoring like you did so prolifically?
I mean, it's a great feeling. I mean, it's really not mainly because of me. Like, the offensive line made huge holes. Like, if you saw it, they were gigantic. Anybody could have ran through it. We could have drove a truck through it. Like, offensive line did an amazing job, and that was the main reason why. I mean, we had a good night.
Well, saying you have a good night is one thing, but wow, you found some north-south lanes like nothing else and found ways to cut through traffic, and the extra effort that happened. That's something that, going from, that aspect of being, from your sophomore year to your junior, what kind of growth did you see in your running game that allowed you to be able to read that more as far as the experience and really find that opportunity to get into the end zone?
I mean, working all off season. During the summer, I worked really hard, especially on my running game, because I just turned to running back last year. I used to be a quarterback. Yeah. But just working on running all off season. I mean, watching stuff on YouTube, everything, just getting better to be a better running back.
Well, that's something that the core of the running on this team this year is really amazing, and that's something. There's a lot of talent that we end up having out there. We've seen, John Bell can get in that running back slot. You're in that. Tanner Jack is in that running. Curtis is in that running spot. I mean, I'm telling you what, how tough. I mean, when you guys work as a core together, how good is it to be part of that kind of a core of running backs that you know that you can kind of go in by committee and really just mix things up for the defense of the other team, knowing that you can get them off their game?
Yeah, we have a lot of weapons, and they're all different play styles. We got speed, we got quickness, we got power. And we got everything. It really helps the offense. We can run any play, like any play you can think of. I mean, we have weapons to do so. And it's just offensive line opens up the holes like they do against yesterday. And we have all the weapons in the world. We'll be a great offensive team.
Well, when you sit back and take a look at it, you end up mentioning that you had previously played quarterback. So you think as running back, you've opened up your street cred there as far as when you look at the gameplay and the change as far as in position. How's that been for you?
I mean, as a quarterback, I didn't really throw the ball. Mostly just ran the ball every single play. So, I mean, running back was a good change. I like it a lot. And it's just like quarterback, I just ran the ball. And it's just a little different view.
Right.
But, I mean, it's a lot of fun, a lot better. I like it.
Well, in addition to that last night was that high-profile game, and it was a great moment to really highlight those running skills that you ended up having. How, in your words, was it for you to hear that crowd cheering for you and getting excited when you found that gap and you were taking tackles and then they were just shedding off of you? You take that straight arm and keep on moving forward or do a nice cut, and the next thing you know, something that looked like it was a dead play, boom! Oh, my goodness. Once again, it's Landon Miller in the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, after the big plays, the crowd was amazing. We'd go back to the sideline, and just the sideline was just amazing. Everybody would jump around me, and everybody was jumping, pushing each other. The crowd, the student section, that was amazing. The best I've ever seen it out of any team around us. It's just the Baron Block was huge, and it was amazing. It was so much fun. It was amazing atmosphere.
Well, that's something that we sit back and we take a look at your plays, and that sometimes you end up having plays where not only do you have the ball and you run in for the end zone, but sometimes it's a matter of maybe a key block or setting up something up differently as far as on the offense. For you, what is your favorite part of your role and what you end up doing on the team?
I think this year I'm more of a leader. I step up and take a leadership role. Last year I was just sophomore. I was just trying to figure out how varsity works. But this year I've taken a leadership role, starting leading the team better, and getting just more hyped up. I think that's more of a main role for me.
Well, as you come out of your, we're going to have this junior year, and we're excited to see more headlines like we saw last night from all your efforts on the field. But, when you talk about that with leadership, what type of a legacy do you want to set to your underclassmen, and what do you want them to think about when it comes to Baron football and your role on this team?
Yeah, I want the freshmen and sophomores, the underclassmen, just to look up to, people like the leaders, like me and Lucas and other leaders on the team, like Aiden Friedel. It's just for them to take our role and lead the team, because it can't be just the coaches. It's got to be the players, and the players got to take the leadership role. So if the underclassmen learn anything, they got to take a leadership role.
Well, and that's something overall as far as performance last night on both offensive and defensive sides. How did you see the game in your eyes last night, and what did it mean to you and your teammates?
It was huge. Garrett, all week, it's been some trash talking back and forth. It's been great to go out and actually beat him and put it on the field and actually do something against him and actually beat him like last year. It was a game and trash talking back and forth all year, and it's just great to go out and actually do something, beat him.
So basically, that sense of community pride does definitely come into play, and
Yeah,
we've got this big game coming against, and it's another rivalry if you think about it as far as conference against the New Haven Bulldogs. How do you see the work this week and what that payoff's going to look like come Friday?
Oh, it's going to be huge. We got to have a good week of practice because New Haven's going to be a good team and a lot of talent. We got to have a good week of practice, study film really hard, and we're gonna do something against New Haven for sure.
Well, and basically, I got another question for you, just as I asked Lucas. Anything that I didn't ask you in the show that you want our fans to know about you and what you end up doing here for the Barons?
Not exactly about me, just about like the DeKalb team, the Barons. We're gonna be something this year. Like the last couple of years, we've been iffy. This year, we're gonna be something big, and the student section keeps coming out like they do. We're gonna be huge.
Fantastic. And any final thoughts and shout-outs you have to our listeners this morning?
How many listeners do we got right now on the BTV thing? 34.
Yeah.
That's a
And
good
growing.
amount. I just really want to say, like I did last year, I just want to give a shout out to Coach Friedel. He really led me to where I am right now because sixth grade he got me into wrestling. I used to be really fat back then, and so he really led me to be the athlete I am today, and I really appreciate that. I want to thank my parents. I mean, they really led me to what I am today.
Fantastic. Well, I tell you what, we look forward to a lot more highlights from both of you young men. We're so glad that you were on the show this morning and so excited about your performance last night and looking forward to this season with a great fervor. Thank you so much, gentlemen. We appreciate it. And that's it really is interesting because now we get a chance to talk to Coach Kempf and Coach Kempf as we transition and take a look here in this part of our program. Now we get to take a look at this focus that we have on the program coming into next Friday. We're going to be back at home. And we're going to be facing a very challenging team in the New Haven Bulldogs. They have a great program. They have for years. Now, I know they tend to look at maybe the matchup that we have as more of a rivalry than say, we do. We look at it as again, that competition. We're going to be bringing our A game. And, really our listeners want to know, what are we going to be doing this week to prepare for the Bulldogs on Friday?
New Haven's obviously an excellent team. That new head coach, Jimmy Lynn, is a great man. And he's got some athletes on that field. We're just like I said, we started breaking down film this morning. All those guys, all the coaches are back there in that office. It smells like raw sewage. There's 8 guys in a 100-square-foot office, but then we do our best, and at an average weight of probably around 270.
Wow,
we're not a small group.
Yeah, that's not bad.
But we're losing weight.
But the office isn't big enough for the group, from what I've noticed.
No, it's not. It gets a little musty in there on game nights, but.
Well, it is kind of interesting because I know on game nights it's not uncommon that I have to stop in there to the locker room to make sure to follow up on different tasks and things that I'm doing. And that's one of the things I'm always amazed about is it actually looks like a can of sardines. When you open up that door, you can barely open up that door to get in, and it's like all of a sudden the fish heads pop out. Like, hey, how's it going, guys? And but it's a great environment. It's a great group of coaches.
It brings us close.
It does.
Not by choice.
Yeah.
I think Coach Garrett is only in there. I think he refuses to go in there. He's always out, sets his own table out in the locker room. But no, I don't remember what we were talking about. No, we got a couple questions here.
Yes, let's
Brad came in. We unofficially Landon had between 180 190 yards rushing. We had about 370 as a team, and I think Jack had about 90, and Johnny. We didn't run John in the second half, and I think he had 60.
Yes.
So, we were all, Kyle was up there too, and I think we got Logan Hunt got some carries last night.
Yes, he did.
I tell you what, Logan is a very good ball player, and he's just kind of at the unfortunate circumstances as a senior. He's got a lot of good ball players in the positions he plays in, but he's a young man that makes our program go.
Yes.
He's at everything. He's positive. He brings a great attitude, and if we ever called on him on a whim, he would play any position you'd ask him to. And, without young men like that within our program, he doesn't always get heralded, or doesn't, you're not going to see him, pop up in the stat line on any given night. But guys like him are the people that make DeKalb football special or make any football program special, that unselfish attitude, the hard workers, and they come in on special teams. And you're very thankful to have those young men in the program, and you thoroughly enjoyed having them around. We just I don't even remember what we're talking about. But, yeah, back at Can Sardines, so the coaches are breaking film down right now. And, obviously here's what we know about New Haven. It's kind of just every year they're athletic. They're really good when they get in front of you. They're going to run around. They're going to do some things that you're not going to see all year. They're not necessarily undisciplined football players, but what they do is that you don't know exactly where they're going to be and how they're going to do it. They can just kind of line up and play.
Right.
It's not not entirely a backyard style of football, but it's constructive chaos. It's unified chaos. They do it very well, which makes it hard to run the ball and pass the ball down and down out. And they try to confuse you, and they do a good job of it.
Well, I tell you what, that's something that a lot of our fans are looking forward to this Friday night coming up. And I got to ask you as well, any final thoughts and shout-outs you have to our listeners and what to look forward to? Now, this is going to be a celebration weekend for our fans, too, no doubt.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Everybody's going to be really pleased and celebrating what we end up having on the victory field. So we want everybody to be safe out there and have a good time and enjoy this victory. But as we go forward, what do you want our fans to know about this Friday?
We got another home game, even more loud, even more proud. We keep saying it together. We're strong, one team, one mission, one heartbeat. It's an oxymoron that you hear every week.
Absolutely.
But, I really think the direction of kind of what we had in the school right now, the feelings that we have in the school. We go to the way we did like that sample broadcast of the volleyball game this week. Last minute we had, a bunch of people watching, commenting and saying, trying to help us improve as a BTV program. And we have guys announcing the O-lineman out. What people kind of forget is that, I don't know forget, but it's kind of forgotten, over the last 15 years, when you're not sustainably good or you don't have that up and downs, we've had a big lull as a football program, and it took us a while to finally dig out of it, and we've had some exciting moments, exciting times, exciting wins. But again, this is now a program of sustainability. Where are we going? How do we sustain success? How do we get better every week by week, then year by year by year, back to where we are no longer just we were really bad. Now we're kind of we've kind of isolated ourselves at the middle of the pack. Now it's time to take that next step.
Absolutely.
And it's not easy. People aren't going to give up their thrones. They're not going to give up their kingdoms that they've spent years building. And everything's cyclical, but we are working, our kids work very, very hard, and we've put a lot of people in a lot of good positions within our program and kind of rebuilt from the ground up. And, guys are in new roles and doing different things. And you're bringing in Coach Collins, and, you have just such a tremendous rebuilding process that has so many people involved. And we're just starting to bear the fruit of the labors. But that being said, all these young men, they're the ones that put in the hard work. They're the ones there at 6:30 a.m. before school working out. They're the ones in strength and conditioning class. They're the ones putting the film hours. They're the ones taking care of business from 8 to 3 o'clock every day, and they're practicing to 6:30 every night. I mean, that's it's a 10-hour day guaranteed. And then you have coaches on top of that there before and after that who are putting in hours upon hours, and the assistants. You don't see all the work they do, and it's just you're thankful to have that in your corner as a head coach. And we're still a little understaffed in the high school staff. We rock 80 dudes with 9 coaches or 8 coaches, and that's not easy. And the players are the ones that have to pick up the slack. And they've this year more than ever, and we've done so in the past, but this year more than ever, I think we've had a lot more active player leadership. And when players take ownership of the program and they make it theirs, that's when you see greatness occur, and I think we're knocking on the doorstep.
Well, and I think our fans are seeing that too, and we can't be more proud or more pleased with all the work you've done in these last few years, really in the past 4, since you started, because
it's hard to believe.
It's been that rebuilding, and one of the things is it's that path towards the restoration of a powerhouse football club.
Powerhouse football, baby.
And that's something that we absolutely love it, and our fans are excited. We see that last night. So fans, once again, make sure to come on out and catch us in that football game Friday night. Coach, any final thoughts and shout-outs to our listeners this morning for
I
football?
think we'll probably kind of close it out together at the very end. We'll talk a little BTV.
That sounds real
we'll
good.
Talk family, but I think right now we're going to take a short commercial break.
We sure are. I'll go ahead and put put some messages out here, really to honor and thank a lot of the sponsors that we have here of our programming on Sports Talk. And we can't be more proud or more pleased with all of the support that we have received from these sponsors. They have done absolutely wonderful things to make this programming possible, and that's something that as we sit back and take a look at it, great sponsor in DeKalb Health. Promote, preserve, restore your health today at DeKalb Health. Feller and Clark Funeral Homes, celebrating the memories of our loved ones. Auburn Essential Services, keeping DeKalb County connected. Steel Dynamics and Sports Talk, and with Sports Talk, we are going to be talking now with the volleyball coach, head coach, Melissa Hall. And Coach Hall, it is such a pleasure to have you here on the show this morning. That's something that we just this week ended up having a great moment and a great contest against none other than Fremont. And the Eagles brought an incredible game, but wow, you can't be more proud of the squad of ladies you have and these young athletes on the volleyball squad, coming through 5 games in varsity and coming back in that final set to make it happen and bring home the victory.
Absolutely, yes. I was really excited with the fight that the girls brought on the floor there, because Fremont they were getting up some really scrappy plays, and even on some of our hardest hits, they were getting that ball back to us, and we had to figure out a way to put the ball on the floor, and it took a lot. Took a lot of effort, and it took a full team effort to get that done. So,
well, I got to tell you, Coach Hall, I get excited. I'm in there and announcing. I get excited watching you coach. My energy level actually goes up with the way that you really, you have a level of encouragement and support to this team as a coach that is just unparalleled, and I am just amazed by it.
Well, thank you.
And one of the things is I want our fans to know a little bit about that, and they need to come out and check out some great volleyball. This is some incredible volleyball. This is your second year as a head coach, correct, of the program. And can you let our fans know a little bit about you and where you hail from?
Sure. I'm actually from the Detroit area.
We'll forgive you for that.
Yeah, I know. I get that a lot. But
It's just an Indiana pride thing. So
yeah, I know it. I get made fun of all the time in the classroom. My little accent, my Michigan accent, a little bit. But graduated from Lincoln Park High School. After high school, went on to play at Siena Heights University in Adrian, Michigan. Played 4 years there. And then I coach at Trine University for 4 seasons. I was the assistant volleyball coach at Trine. So.
That's an absolutely incredible resume. And so now I can understand where a lot of that energy, enthusiasm comes from your coaching.
Oh, yes. Like a kid in a candy store on the sidelines.
Yeah.
So.
Well, for us and for the fans, it's so much fun to end up seeing. And especially one of the things I've noticed is just from last year being your introductory year as a coach and how much the team has progressed in that short window of time and the adjustments that you've made. Can you share with us a little bit about what you've seen in this class, this group of individuals, and some of the things that we've had to do to prepare for this season?
Sure. I mean, I really give all the credit to these girls because they have totally bought in. We've been doing weights since February pretty much, and they've been working hard all through last season, all through the spring, all through the summer, and it's really all been based off of them. And, they've really responded to wanting to put in this effort and wanting to make this program great, and so they are the pioneers of it. I'm just a person on the sidelines to what they're bringing. So,
well, that's something you end up saying that, and you're very humble in saying that, because one of the things I can tell you is this program has really made jumps and leaps, and it is so exciting. Every night we get a chance to come out and watch this club play volleyball. I'm just so impressed by everything that you've done, and fans, you have got to come out and catch this volleyball action. It
Absolutely.
is unparalleled. It is really so much fun and entertaining to end up watching. And Coach, you end up mentioning where you're from. Now, where does your passion from volleyball come from?
I had a fantastic coach in high school. His name was Al Edwards, who just loved the game. He was there for 19 years. He played with us even in his 50s. He was out on the court all the time and just really a role model. And his passion for the game just kind of spread to my team and especially myself. And I got to play against him actually in college. He was a coach for one of the conference teams I played against. So I got to see him all through high school, all through college. And that's really where my love of the game came from.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yep.
Now, I have another question for you because it's a lot of a mystery, especially. I go out, I love volleyball. I love watching the action. But the libero, what the heck's going on with the libero? How do you end up managing a libero?
Well, the libero gets to play a total of 6 rotations in the back row.
Okay.
So they usually play, and it all depends on the team, but for our team, Natalie Hughes gets to play for both of our middles in the back row. And so they play 3 rotations for the first middle, and then as they rotate around, the second middle would then be in the back row, and then she also gets to play those rotations there. So it's kind of nice if you have a passing specialist, someone that you want out on the court for all 6 rotations, that's who you pick.
Absolutely.
Yep. So.
Well, it's very good to know because not just myself, but many other people look at that and they go, "How does this substitution thing work?" Because
did she just forget her jersey?
Yeah. Why does that person have a different jersey on? What's going on? And so, as people are getting more familiar with it, it's good for us to educate and share with them some of the things that are going on and what's happening as far as management of the game, and how we end up using that strategy to our advantage.
And that's another thing too is that a libero switch with the middles does not count as a sub because we are limited on the number of substitutions that we can make in a game, and so any libero going in for a player does not count against us as far as our sub count goes.
Fantastic. So. And of course this week, what do we have coming up in our schedule this week for games?
We have Prairie Heights on Tuesday away, and then we travel to Northside on Wednesday, and then we've got Central Noble at home, so we need a big crowd.
We absolutely do. And
yes.
can you share with us, really some of the things that we have this year from our senior leadership group, and really some weapons that we have on the team, so to speak, that really differentiate our action this year in their positions?
Yes, we have a ton of offensive players in the front row there with Hannah McAfee here on my left. She's been on the outside, has got a ton of experience on the outside. Been playing since sophomore year, right? Freshman year. Oh, hey, see, yeah. I've only been here too. So Bethany Lancaster is on the right side this year. It's her second year as a hitter. We kind of transitioned her from the setting role. And then Sydney Gehrig, also been in the middle, who's a force to be reckoned with. But then we've also got some younger girls, Christina Urian and Paige Pettis, who are only sophomores, who are Paige Pettis is her second year too, so she's got some experience on the outside, and then Christina Urian with some height, just trying to get her into the game too. So.
Well, fantastic.
Yes.
Well, it's a pleasure having you on the show this morning.
Yes, thank you so much.
Are there any questions that I hadn't asked you that you can share with our listeners about you and this program this year?
No, I think you got it all covered.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Well, I tell you what, it's such a pleasure to have you here on the show, and we'll come back to you after we do some interviews. But
Perfect.
You brought some great players with
I
you.
sure did.
Can you share with us who we have today? Of
Yes,
course. And
we have Hannah McAfee, who's a senior. We have Natalie Hughes, a junior, and Bethany Lancaster, who's also a senior.
ladies, it's a pleasure to have you here on the show this morning, and we'll go ahead and we'll start with Hannah McAfee. And Hannah, that's something. This isn't the first time for you on Sports Talk or talking with us on the coaches, so you're no stranger to that aspect. And it is such a pleasure to have you on the program once again. Now, really, this year being your senior year, can you tell us what, in your own words, what does it mean for you to play with this caliber of athletes on such a great club, and what's it like to be a Baron in this group?
Well, I'm super excited to be a senior and just try to be kind of a leader on the floor. It's really exciting because I feel like this year we're to a whole new level. Like last year, I feel like we've just excelled so much, and I'm super excited to be a senior and kind of like a leader, lead all these girls, and just see how far we can go, because I think it's going to be a really good season.
Well, the fans are getting, anytime you guys play, our fans, they're following you guys, and they really look up to the role models that you end up doing. And, for you, what is your legacy of what you want to cement for the younger players, and what do you want to share with them to be able to continue this kind of work effort here on the club?
Yeah, I just want to leave just a positive atmosphere, I guess, and just show them that if you just work hard, don't never give up, just always stay in the game, then you'll get a positive outcome.
Well, I gotta tell you, I would never want to be on the opposite side of the court when you slam that ball. Okay, just so you know, I would duck and run. That is really impressive as far as your level of competitiveness on the field, and that's something. Can you share with our folks a little bit about what position you play, and what does it mean for you to be out there making the difference for the volleyball team?
Yeah, I'm an outside hitter, so I guess that's on the left side.
Yeah.
I play all the way around, so back row and front row. I've been playing since I was a freshman. I did club volleyball too. I put in like all the time and effort. I'm just super excited to keep on doing it.
Well, and you mentioned something there as far as with club volleyball, because during season there's a limited time that you have for both practice and for playing, and so in the off season, is that one of the better venues for people that are wanting to be in the club, to let them know a little bit about basically the demands that they have, not only academically but also what other things are going to help them improve their game?
Yeah, club season really helped me out. I didn't do it this year, but I did it the 2 years prior to this year, and you just get tons of reps. You get so much more experience. You have tournaments like every weekend. You make so many new friends from other schools too. It's just a really good experience if you want to keep getting better at volleyball.
Fantastic. And Hannah, I know I haven't asked you a ton of questions, but is there anything that I haven't asked you that you want to share with our listeners today about you and basically about what you want to bring to this club?
I'm just super excited to keep on playing and hopefully win some more games.
Fantastic. Well, any final thoughts and shout-outs you have to our listeners and for the fans coming to watch it?
Well, I guess I'll shout out to my parents because they're always there to support me. They're there every game. Afterwards, always tell me I did a good job, even if I didn't think so. So, yeah, my parents.
Well, I tell you what, we'll echo those comments. We appreciate you so much,
Thank
Hannah,
you.
being here on the show. And next, we're going to end up talking with Natalie Hughes, the mysterious libero, and that's something that, Natalie, it is a pleasure having you on the show this morning. Now, is this the first time for you on Sports Talk?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's what we're going to try really hard not to embarrass you, but we are going to go ahead and we're going to start right at the. So, do you have some famous parents in the crowd watching you and supporting you at every game?
Yep.
And who are they?
Betty Sue Hughes and Shane Hughes.
And do they hail from Gun Barrel, Texas?
What?
Do you have grandparents in Gun Barrel,
yeah.
Texas as well? Okay. And that's now I got to say that's something. It is so much fun when I come to the games and I end up just like Hannah said. I always hear her parents and Bethany's parents and your parents as well, and I always just love that experience. What does it mean for you to have all these fans out there in the crowd coming and watching you in and out every game and coming and supporting you?
I think it's really cool how, like, from past experiences, like playing, like a lot of people didn't come out and watch us, and like now that we've improved and we've worked so hard, like lifting and putting like doing 2-a-days and all this stuff, like we've improved, and I think it's so cool how they're coming out to watch us and cheering for us all the time, like all the boys, the football boys coming and like just enjoying like how we're doing.
Well, you know, I think that's one of the things that's really fun about the atmosphere in there is everybody's always so upbeat and supportive. And, you know, there's at different times there's learning lessons as far as all of us have those in the game performances or anything else, but there is always a level of support there. Now, I got to ask you, how much fun have you been having with the level of support, especially with Coach Hall and what she's bringing here for your team?
I love it. She's such a good coach. She always brings like a positive vibe to us. She never, like, if we make a mistake, like, she doesn't just dwell on the mistake. She's like, hey, like, you do this to fix the mistake that you made. And I think it just helps so much because, like, when we make a mistake, we're like, oh my gosh, why didn't we, like, pass that up or, like, spike it over? But, like, we just fix it, like, because she, like, helps us.
Exactly. And now for you, as the libero, one of the things, how many years have you been playing volleyball again?
Like,
On the
13.
club? 13 years total. And how many for the Barons on varsity?
2.
2. Okay.
Yeah.
And so what does this mean for you? Because this is a little bit of a different role for you, isn't it, in the libero role?
Yeah. Yep, it's really different. I mean, I just love it. Like, I love passing. It's something that, like, I just, like, feel good about every time I'm passing. Like, I love getting up digs and running for the ball and just everything about it.
Well, I tell you what, it really is an exciting position, and we have so much fun watching you out there. When we can tell you're having fun as well, and we just love that aspect of it. So with that, you know, you've played for 13 years. Where does your passion come from in the game?
I don't know. I just first, like, I was started in first grade, and I was like, oh, wow, like, cool. Like, this is actually really fun. And then, like, it started to come out, like, I started playing club and stuff. And then I stopped that, but when I did play, like, it was the competitive. Like, I love being competitive and winning. Like, I just love winning. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Now, could you share anything with any of our younger listeners that are interested in volleyball that can really help them with their career?
I mean, if you just enjoy this, I don't know, if you just enjoy the sport, come out. It's really fun.
Fantastic. And, of course, anything I didn't ask you that you can share with our fans today about you and what you do for the team? No. How about some final shouts, some thoughts and shout outs to your biggest fans?
I would like to give a shout out to my parents and 2 of my best friends that always come to every home game, Faith and Jade. They're like the bestest friends, and they always support me, and they help me through everything. So
fantastic. Yep. It's such an honor to have you on the show. Thank you so much, Natalie.
Thank you.
And we're going to end up having Bethany Lancaster next, and that's something that's and we're going to switch over. Are you ready to talk with us? All right, fantastic. Now, I think she's giving me the high sign. Please keep my interview short. I don't want to. Well, that's something that you know, you've been on the team as well for several years. Can you tell our listeners what year you ended up starting as far as on the volleyball club here at DeKalb?
Yeah, I actually started playing when I was in 7th grade, but last year I transitioned from being a setter to a hitter, so it's definitely a big change from setting the ball to actually getting to hit it and make the attack and win the point for the team.
Well, you know, that's something that I've seen that change for you as far as that role in volleyball as well. And just like I said to Hannah, I'm going to echo this again. I do not want to be on the other side of the court when you slam that thing down. When that spike comes across there, that is unbelievable. And, you know, and you've had some roles even at different times, even serving. What's it, you know, when you end up getting that kind of opportunity to go out there, and what's it like in that moment when you get that ace?
It's so much fun. The energy is just so high. If you get the ace, it's like an instant point. All the girls are super excited. You come in, all give high fives, and you just want to get back and try to get another one. Well,
and another part of that ends up happening as well is how about the action that happens up at the line? You and Hannah, and when we end up seeing Sydney up there, it's like you guys are a brick wall. That ball can't go over the top of the net.
We definitely have a big front line. We're all pretty tall, and when you get a block, that's the best part because the other team also has amazing hitters, and the back row is like, hey, you got to get that block up because we're scared of them. So when you get a good block or a good kill, it's a lot of fun.
Well, one of the things that's really amazing is I come in and I enjoy, and I've been able to watch you guys over the last 4 years and see how much you've grown and how much you've developed. But you ladies really have a great friendship and kinship together. Can you tell me what it's like being a Baron, getting an opportunity to play on a team so talented and at the same time so well connected?
Yeah, I think sports are a big part of friendships. That's where like a lot of your best friendships are made. And like Hannah earlier said, this is kind of just like a new year. The team's super close, and we all have a good connection, which just makes it all the more fun.
Oh, I've got a question here from one of our listeners. So who's the biggest trash talker at the net?
I don't know. We all kind of just like, when me, Hannah, and Sid are up, we all look at each other and we're like, hey, smash it down on so-and-so. But we don't really say anything to the other team, but we all definitely have our own looks we give each other.
Okay, so you're all kind of collaborating as far as into that aspect of getting unified. Well, and it really is amazing. This is your senior year, and you've done so much and had so many different roles as far as in volleyball so far. Can you tell us what it's like? And I know we've also seen different coaches as well. What it's like playing for Coach Hall, and at the same time, what type of a legacy do you want to cement and share with the younger players to really keep the volleyball at the highest level possible at DeKalb?
Playing for Coach Hall is great. Starting as a freshman, we've had like 4 different coaches, a new coach every year. But then Coach Hall has come in and really changed the program and provided a lot of insight to us and like how the sport should be played. And it's really helped us. We've improved a ton. And then being a senior, it's crazy to believe that we're finally at the top.
It's crazy for me to believe that, too. It just seems
crazy.
like yesterday that you started.
Freshman, yeah. So it's fun to be able to provide that like leadership and a role to the younger girls that like look up to and be like someone's role model. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Now, any question that I haven't asked that you want to share with our listeners, your viewers, and your fans about you?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Now, Bethany, who are some of the biggest fans and supporters that you have that you want to put a shout-out to our program today?
Like they all said, my parents are definitely a big one. They come to every game, and when I was younger, they would drive to every practice. And then I'd also like to give a shout-out to Josh Collins for training us all the time, and then he's always at our games and gets all the football players there, and that's like our whole student section pretty much.
Fantastic. And what can we expect to see? Again, we've got some pretty important matchups this week. You got any shout-outs and thoughts to our volleyball team members as well, and wishing them good luck in this week's games coming up?
Oh, we're going for 3 wins for sure, so we all need to keep our energy up and be ready.
Fantastic. Once again, Bethany Lancaster, thank you so much for being part of this program this morning. We really appreciate it. Best of luck this week and throughout the season.
Thanks.
And we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk to Coach Hall one more time before we end the program here. And, it is so great to end up having an opportunity to really interact and share with our fans these great young ladies, these great athletes, and all of their efforts. And once again, with you, Coach, that's something it's such a pleasure and an honor to have you here on the show this morning.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
When you end up having this and moving forward and having this great core, how does it make you feel as a coach to see the huge change from one year to the next and seeing the potential that you have for this season?
Yeah, I have been really excited. Honestly, ever since I started working out in February, I was getting giddy. I've been so excited for this season. And once again, though, it all goes back to these girls. They've just been waiting for somebody to give them that direction and give them these opportunities. And I just happen to be that person, So I just happen to be that person that came in and just, they're thriving off of it. They're thriving off the challenges, and it's been awesome.
Well, we have had an awful lot of great supporters, and to me, it looks like the fan base is increasing, that gym keeps getting – since last year,
oh, yes.
There's more and more people coming in here watching a higher level of caliber play and really enjoying this season. What can you say about our supporters of this program?
Well, the parents are always great. Shout out to all the parents, and they now have some props because we also made some Baron Ace cards for when we get all those aces, because we did have 16 in a game the other day, which was awesome. So we got to use those a lot. And we also have some dimes. And for those of you that don't know what the dimes are for, it's when we pass a perfect ball. We call them passing dimes. And so you get to cha-ching, pass out those dimes. So that's awesome. And then Josh Collins has been a huge supporter of the Baron Volleyball team, and he brings out all of the football players. And then, of course, Coach Brown, Coach Pierce, and I get experience with all them and all the students in the classroom. So we're always reminding them that we need some supporters at the game, and so we try and bring our students in too. So definitely gotten a bigger student crowd. Our goal is to get that other set of bleachers to have to be pulled out. So.
Well, and we will, and I'm sure that'll happen as far as in the future. And one of the things I want to put a little shout out to Athletic Director Chris Rhodes and Principal Matt Toth. One of the things I'm so impressed by the level of support, and it doesn't matter if it's football, doesn't matter if it's volleyball, doesn't matter whatever program it is. They are out there doing so much to support everybody all the time.
They are. It's been a great time to be in Baron Athletics. I mean, huge strides are being making all across all the programs right now, so it's been awesome to be part of.
Well, it really has, and so folks, once again, come out this week, check out the volleyball schedule. You're not going to get any better action. I tell you what, it is absolutely an honor to have you here on the program this morning. Any final thoughts and shout-outs to our listeners today?
Hope to see you on Thursday.
Fantastic. Once again, that's Coach Melissa Hall here with the volleyball team here at the DeKalb Barons, and once again, this is Sports Talk with Joe Snyder, and as we close today, we want to end up having a few words about our sponsors, and we want to thank you for tuning into this broadcast of the DeKalb Baron Sports Talk, once again at the Ben Davis Ford in Auburn. And I'm your host, Joe Snyder, voice of the Barons. And, hey, you know what? This is hosted by AES via YCN, your community network. Make sure to tune in next week for another edition of the Sports Talk program and all the updates to game insights with players and coaches. This broadcast was made possible by the generosity of the following program sponsors: Auburn Essential Services, DeKalb Health, Steel Dynamics Incorporated, Bowles Frozen Desserts. We also have some great sponsors in Gibson's Heating and Plumbing, FC Tucker, Malcolm and Schluter Realtors. That's Kelly Southern State Farm, Albright's One-Stop Grocery and Supermarket in Corona, Jamel Flooring, the Ben Davis Auto Group, Brown & Brown Insurance, Classic City Body and Paint, Smith Farms Manor, Nixon Homes, Joyce Hefty Koval Insurance Agency, Betts Nursing Home, Beacon Credit Union, Metal Technologies, Mefford Weber & Blythe Attorneys at Law, Nucor Building Systems, Vision Source, Indiana Physical Therapy, Auburn Dental Associates, Taylor Rental, Best Deal Auto Sales, Bernadette Salon, The Forget Me Not Boutique, Big Red Sports, Jeremiah's, DeKalb Chiropractic, and Drive Right Academy.
Thank you all today. Real quick, out at the high school today, we did have the Baron Invitation was canceled, so there is no cross-country going on. However, the band is still selling mattresses. They have their massive mattress sale fundraiser. It goes a long way to accomplishing what they want to accomplish this year. So if you need a mattress, go out and buy one. I know there's 16 or 20-some people watching right now. Go buy a mattress, all right? Also, again, we want to do a quick shout-out to all the sponsors who usually make this possible. Next week, we'll be back up. I think we're back up on YCN again, 7 o'clock p.m. We're working out all the kinks. We're New Haven versus DeKalb. Come check it out. We're also working out with 106.7 Real Country now. Real has been re-identified. Real Country to make sure we're on the radio, too. We got a lot of great things going on Baron Television. Joe's have been a big part of that. We have, all those sponsors. So many awesome things going on right now. We'll also have another program on next week. I don't know who it'll be yet. We'll find out early this week. Make sure you check out our Facebook page, fb.com/Baron TV.
Television.
Baron
Television.
fb.com/Baron Television. You can find the link down below in the bio. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a Twitter at DHSBTV. Everything that we're communicating, we're going to do our best to communicate through those three media platforms, including our sponsors. We'll hopefully get some sponsorships up on the Facebook page and acknowledgments real soon. Joe and I did a behind-the-scenes kind of BTV that'll be up this week on our Facebook page about us and what we're doing, and so many great things, and it's just we're here to celebrate it all. We're very thankful, and obviously I know Jackie's I know she's probably still listening. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you real soon. Tell the girls I love them. And I think I'm done. Let's kind of cancel it out with the voice himself.
That sounds great. Well, fans, thanks once again for viewing this week. We look forward to another Sports Talk next week where we get a chance to talk to DeKalb Baron coaches and players and get you all the insights to the action. That's it for this week of Baron TV Sports Talk, and we'll catch you again soon at the next game.